everyone. Coming up here on the AEW Dynamite Ring Report, where AEW had its first night one of Fyter Fest. Coming up, we have all the matches where we have this Jon Moxley defends the IWGP United States Championship in against Carl Anderson. We'll get to that. Plus, is Heyman Adam Page, is he ready to go for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship? I mean, Heyman Page, we'll hear from him. Is he's ready to take that leap and that bound to claim what's rightfully his, the AEW World title? We'll get to that. And also, too, we have this fight right here: Mordecai Black and Cody beating each other up, and Andrade looking for the Death Triangle. I don't know what that means. And we have that match as well as what is going on between Team Taz and Ricky Starks, screwing Brian Cage out of his FTW championship. In the main event, as you see right here, Darby Allin falling right through the casket. What's going on there? Did Darby Allin emerge victorious over his win over, what's his name? Ethan Page? We'll get to that. Well, like I said, the Pro Wrestling Show will start. All this and more as the Pro Wrestling Show starts right after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the special edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. Tonight, AEW Dynamite was as a special Fyter Fest as its night one edition. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling Here on Connect. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Yes, the Pro Wrestling Show. We're trying to get the color scheme. There you go. The color scheme. There you go. All right. Thank you all for watching. Like, we get to it right now with what's going on with AEW. AEW held its Fyter Fest. As you see right here, Fyter Fest, as we get the graphics. Fyter Fest. Come on. Come on. With us are a little bit out of whack a little bit, but we're doing the best we can. So, walking, hopefully, yeah. Event Fyter Fest. Okay. Now you can see me. Okay. Good. All right. AEW held its event Fyter Fest right here. If we can show the logo, the graphic. Can we show the graphic? Okay. Well, we're having a little bit of trouble, but hey, it is what it is. Well, Jon Moxley, the IWGP United States champion, was in action. He's defending his championship against Carl Anderson. Jon Moxley getting back into a live audience again, back to reminiscing of his Shield days. If you recall, Moxley came out there and he defended the championship. Moxley retained the title when it was a good, quick match where Moxley used the Impala DDT to get the 1, 2, 3. Moxley felt right at home in the live crowd. So Jon Moxley will probably get another shot. Now this light keeps fading out. I hope. Okay, speaking of that light fading out, well, we'll get to that. Cody had called out Malachi Black on what he did was unreprehensible to Arn Anderson. We kicked Arn Anderson in the skull and kicked Cody as well. Cody, the man in Malachi Black, come out here saying he is a top primetime player, but he didn't have to do the way he did. Cody and Malachi Black fighting, and then the referees and agents had to restrain both men. So what's gonna go down between these two going forward? You know there's gonna be a match all out between them two. You know it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen between them two at all out between Cody and Malachi Black. Speaking of that, another implication for all out as Heyman Page was in the ring, as Tony Schiavone was interviewing him, whether or not he was going to accept the challenge and challenge the champion Ken Omega for the world title. Heyman Page was thinking about Heyman Page said he needs that world title to complete him. And Ken Omega came out there, and Adam Page, not the, like I said, them two no strange to each other. They know each other. They used to be tag team partners and tag team champions together. Now they're on different spectrums. Well, as you see right here, um, the Bucks came out there as well, and Ken Omega as well. So Omega laid down the challenge and said that the Elite will take on the Dark Order in a 5-on-5 match. If the Elite wins, neither Heyman or the Dark Order can challenge for their respective world and tag team titles. So that means that if they lose in their elimination match, whenever they're gonna happen, that means that's it. Ain't no more, ain't no chance. Heyman can't challenge for it, neither the Dark Order. If they win, they get the challenge for it along with the Dark Order. It's a challenge for the tag team title. So that kind of makes sense and even things out a little bit to see how it all going to come down to it, when it come down, and how it all is going to affect the ramifications of this historic championship match. If this dude happened at all out, what match we're going to see Ken Heyman Page finally become the world champion and stuff. We have to just wait and see. Also, too, Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz were playing mind games with Tully Blanchard. As you recall, Tully Blanchard had orchestrated the attack on Santana Ortiz's longtime manager and longtime mentor of Conan, and they wanted to return the favor. But Proud and Powerful said, "We ain't gonna do you like that. We ain't gonna do no misjustice to you." So Proud and Powerful Tully Blanchard, they send a message to say, "Hey, we don't hit senior citizens." What totally kind of is now. But so Proud and Powerful want a match against FTR down the road. So it's gonna be real good to see this stuff. So we'll see on that. Speaking of championship matches, we had a very odd, bizarre championship match as Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks challenged Brian Cage for the FTW championship. You know, I mean, you know, the FTW championship. I don't even have to say it. But Ricky Starks went against Brian Cage in a controversial fashion. Brian Cage had the match won. Ricky Starks, every move that he took from Brian Cage, he kicked out. But Brian Cage wasn't playing. Brian Cage got screwed by Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs played in advance for Ricky Starks before Ricky Starks even tried to use the belt. So it was all orchestrated. Team Taz, including Taz, orchestrated that they kicked Cage out the group. So Cage is no longer a member of Team Taz. It's Ricky Starks now the new champion, the new FTW champion, with the help of Taz and Son Hook and play Hobbs. Man, that just it's messed up. It's truly messed up right there. I'm telling you. Well, no, there you go. So it is what it is. Also, too, Andrade had conducted was Alexander had conducted an interview with Andrade. Andrade told Alexander well the Death Triangle. Abraham knew because Abraham hangs with what's his name? He hangs with what's that? Penta. He hangs with Penta. He kind of As you see, Abraham didn't want to answer that question, but he's saying you already know what would it be. Abraham kind of went along with it and tagged along with it. Didn't want to kind of ruffle his feathers and stuff. And kind of that's what he did. He kind of ruffled his feathers. So Andrade probably will have a match with Penta, which that'll be a good, awesome match to see Andrade and Penta 1-on-1. So look for that heading down the road very soon. Also, too, the Penelope Ford was in action. She took on Yoka Shida. I can't even spell her name, but hey, my apologies when I botched the name. Well, it was a quick match in a way. Really didn't do nothing. Penelope Ford was trying to duck and dodge her and trying to leave in a hurry, but she kind of Yoka kind of got her and made her went down and out and got the 1-2-3. So it was just like reintroducing to Yukan, what her name is. Also, too, Wheeler Ute Sammy Guevara was in action. Sammy Guevara wrestling in front of nearby his crowd, nearby where he lived, near Houston. This Will Utah, who debuted with the Best Friends. Good exhibition match for Sammy Guevara, getting a good crowd pop. Sammy Guevara getting the admiration that he richly deserves. So Sammy Guevara on his way becoming a big baby face down the road. We'll see on Guevara. We'll talk about what's going on with Jericho as well, Guevara's teammate. Also, too, what else happened? Did we see this? All right. So you see a little bit of Moxley. Moxley decided that he was going to answer the challenge, and Moxley came out there after the scenes and accepted Lance Archer challenge for a U.S. Championship match, IWGP U.S. title match, and they will do it near Dallas in the Texas Death Match. So next week, Lance Archer gets his hands on Moxley. It's been merely almost a year since Moxley went against Lance Archer. So Moxley and Archer, rivals, go at it once again. This time for the IWGP World U.S. title. Remember a year ago for the world title. So you know how that go. All right. Also, well, Moxley did have his match against Carl Anderson. And that was a real good match as well. So it was it. So also was the main event. The main event was what was the main event? The main event was Darby Allin goes 1-on-1 against Ethan Page. These two can't stand each other. These two hate each other. These two can't stand each other to be in AEW. And it had to end a coffin match, which it was like a cheap, tacky coffin, if you ask me. But it was it. Darby and Ethan Page sell their scores in a coffin match. First man to be eliminated. First man to be stuck in the coffin. Losing. See this fan with her admiration pulling for Team Darby, saying Ethan Page gonna lose in that coffin match. Well, Ethan Page did. It was a lot of surprises. Even the man they call Sting came out there. Sting came out there to help aid Darby and get rid of Scorpio Sky and take care of business in front of the crowd. Non-advertised, as you can see. So Sting, Darby, and Ethan Page had their match. Darby pinned Ethan Page. He didn't pin him, but he put him in the casket and stuffed him and got the win. Darby wasn't done yet. Darby went down and did a coffin drop and crashed the coffin drop with his body broken down left and right. So Darby Allin getting his revenge, sweet revenge on Ethan Page. So we know Darby Allin. Yeah, I know they're building up for him getting a another match against Miro down the road. We have to wait and see on that. Well, let's look at the rundown. What's going to happen next week for AEW? And AEW did a phenomenal rundown as John Moxley will defend the IWGP World United States Championship in a Texas Death Match next week against old rival Lance Archer. That should be a good one. It should be the first match of the night, I believe, next week. Also, too, unfinished business between Orange Cassidy versus the Blade. These two have been at each other's throat at the past couple of weeks. Now they sell their differences in night two for Fighter Fest. Also, MJF promised Chris Jericho in order to get to him, you got to go through his stable. And that's what Jericho must do and have to do in order to get his hands on MJF. Jericho will be in a Laborers of Jericho match. Now, this is going to be the first chapter. Shawn Spears attacked Chris Jericho tonight out of nowhere and took his throat out with a chair. Well, Shawn Spears can use a chair, but Jericho can't. That's been added to the stipulation that been given to him by MJF. Also, the AEW Women's Championship is on the line as Dr. Britt Baker in her first championship defense goes against Nyla Rose, who's been a thorn in her side after she won the championship. I mean, like they've been both heels, but you know who's the babyface? I'm thinking Britt's more like the babyface than Nia. Well, Britt and Nia, Britt Baker sent a message about Nia and Vicky saying Vicky's only relevant because of her name, her last name Guerrero, and the only reason Nia needs to be relevant so she can win back the championship that she lost against Hiroshima. So there's a lot going on with that. So night one was great. It was the action. You've seen a lot of these faces tonight. So they provided a good match. I think to me, what was the biggest already we knew was the moment of the night had to be Ricky Starks winning the FTW championship. We knew the swerve was coming. We just didn't know when it was gonna come and how Cage will resolve, try to get his hands on all members of Team Taz, including Taz himself. If Taz got a chance. All right. All right. That ends the AEW Ring Report. All right, folks. Don't miss that this weekend, no SmackDown Ring Report. It will be the Money in the Bank predict the outcome. As you see right here, Money in the Bank predict the outcome coming your way this weekend. So look for that when it drops your way. It's vice versa for the women. 8 superstars, 4 from Raw and 4 from SmackDown. Well, we know 3, but we don't know the mystery one. They've been saying a lot of rumors going on, but we just have to wait and see on that one. And it should be a good Money in the Bank show. So look for that this weekend coming your way, dropping this weekend. Like I said, we would have done Slammiversary. It's a possibility we could do it, but we'll see. We'll see. We just don't want to stack the card. We'll see on that. So let's get to right quick right now. Let's get to hot topics. On hot topics this week. All right, we heard that what's his name? We heard that Michael Elgin right here, former Ring of Honor star, former Impact star, he's been in the headline now about his domestic violence situation. Michael Elgin, about his ex-fiance, about the reports going on. So Michael Elgin, he tried to clear his name, trying to. If you see, he's been around the YouTube channel lately, trying to say and clear his name on what's going on with the situation going on with him. So we'll have a little bit more information going on this weekend on the special pro wrestling show for the predicted outcome for Money in the Bank or our Slammiversary one, whatever drops. So we'll do the predicted outcome for Slammiversary this Saturday for Slammiversary, or it'll be Friday or Saturday, one of the two. And we'll have the Money in the Bank for Sunday. So look for that. Also, too, Mandy Rose, the goddess Mandy Rose, no longer a member of the Raw roster. She's now a member of the NXT roster going forward. I mean, Mandy Rose was doing okay on Raw. Why would you drop Mandy Rose from Raw when she had unfinished business with Natalia? Just don't get it into me. They should have just let that continue on. But in the world of WWE, if it just don't make sense, if it don't make dollars, don't make sense, right? So Mandy Rose trying to establish herself on NXT. So we'll see on that. And another interesting note was this right here. They said now it's a fun fact that a lot of the women that were, if you see right here, Lana, Ruby Riott, Mandy Rose, no longer a team except Tamina and Nan and Tamina, who are the current champions. So, there goes. So, man, it just messed up. Also, too, Miro showed his new championship belt. It's real pretty. It's like he calls himself God's champion. I guess the white reminiscence of heaven in a way for Miro. So, there you go. All right. All right, y'all. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Like I said, we're going to have this Sunday dropping, streaming available all on the Connect TV. We'll have the Money in the Bank, predict the outcome for Money in the Bank. Look for that to come out and look for Slam of the Impact one if we have time to do it. But we know Money in the Bank for sure. So for me being Kendrick Dix saying so long, we'll see you this weekend for the Predict the Outcomes. See you later.